All right, everybody. This is, I guess you can call this kind of a part two. I did a previous video, so make sure you check that out on the types of interview questions you might be asked and kind of ways to think about that and prep. I talked about a lot of stuff that I talk about in mock interviews. And so what I noticed actually is that this is another thing of I've been doing mock interviews for 5 years now. And I frequently say this all the time. So I'm like, you know what? Let me put this in a video and share it because it's a theme that constantly comes out of people doing mock interviews with me. Okay. And I also have an activity on how to go deeper with this in my interview bundle. I will post that link below of basically it is your everything you need to prep for CRNA school, know stuff for your units that you're working in now, kind of elevate your clinical knowledge, and also you can use what's in there as kind of a foundational piece before you start CRNA school as well. So anyways, I'll link that below. But when I do mocks, this always comes up in the mock. So I'm like, let's freaking talk about it because I think that this is probably one of the most powerful things that you can do in your CRNA interview is bridge the gap for them. Okay. So essentially, this is you, RN. I know some of you guys are NPs as well, but you're a nurse, right? Okay. This is you over here. And this is what you want. You want to be over here, right? You want to be an sRNA. You want to be an rRNA. You want to be a CRNA. You want to be in school. Okay. So here to there, you have got to show them in your interview that you are ready for what's over here, that you have thought about it, that you know the profession inside and out, you know their school inside and out, you know the faculty inside and out, you know what it'll take, you have done shadowing, you have done your research, right? Like you need to be well researched in this profession, okay, over there, because that is how you build the gap. That's how you bridge the gap, right? I'm here. This is who I am here. This is who I'm becoming. And this is who I know I need to be in your program. You have to walk them across the gap, the gap here. Yeah. So you have to walk them across the gap of because you're not over here yet. So you have to show them you're ready to be over here, right? You've thought about it 20 ways to Sunday. You've thought about moving, you know, you're going to move, you're going to get your apartment, right? Like I'm in it, I'm ready. Walk them across that bridge. It's already done for you. It's just a matter of like, who's given me my yes. Okay. That's kind of energy I want you to go into that interview with. Like, this is so done and I am so ready and I am so prepped and I can't wait to just show you who I am and show you that like, I know how to walk across the gap here. I know who I need to be able to succeed in your program. And I also know the impact. I don't think you guys, we think about this enough. Oh my God, can you open that? The impact. What impact do you want to make on this program you're in? What impact do you want to make on your patients in the future? As I said on my other video, prepping for a CRNA school interview is very reflective. You've got to know thyself. You've got to have that self-awareness piece. Why I coach on this all the time in both my RN and my sRNA coaching program, right? You've got to know who you are. You got to know the values that you have, and you need to know the specific impact you want to make on the profession and in their program. Okay. So those are some of the things to get very clear on. And again, if you want to coach on that or work more on that, I've got a whole little module on that in my interview bundle program. Okay. Because you're essentially, as you are answering questions in your interview, you're taking them on a journey, right? You are showing them all they know about you is what was on a bunch of paper. Now we got to let that paper come to life and let them see you and see that you're ready. Say that all the time. Show them, don't tell them. Examples, bridging the gap. You're guiding them on a journey and across the bridge of who you are now, who you're becoming, and who you will be in their program because you know what it is going to take as a CRNA. You have an idea of it, right? Of how hard and rigorous it's going to be, and you are up for it. Okay. So here's some ways to kind of think about this is, again, keep saying this all the time, but that self-awareness, right? Of really thinking about who are you right now? Who are you? What are your values? What challenges have you overcome? What have you learned about yourself as an ICU nurse, right? Like you have to know who you are. You have to know your strengths. You have to be proud of yourself for getting thus far. I can't tell you how many times I've asked somebody, tell me what you're proud of right now. Crickets. Well, I mean, what are you proud of that you have done? What are you proud of yourself right now? Right? We don't think about that enough. So really think about this portion. Okay. And then here you're kind of like painting that vision, right? Like this situation like taught me how to lead in tough times and how to stand up for myself, right? I'm learning how to cope with stress. These are some of the things I put in place to cope with stress. I tend to do too much. I tend to people please. I tend to say yes to everything. These are some things I am doing under pressure, right? This is who I'm becoming, right? Taking them across the bridge and then connecting it to the profession. So over here, like I said, you also need to know, I ask people all the time, what are 3 traits you think a CRNA has to have? Think about that. Who does a CRNA have to be? And what kind of CRNA do you want to be? Right? Prepared, calm, confident, vigilant, right? I'm building these muscles. Everything that I am here is going to teach me to be everything I need to be over here. You have to show that you understand also the role of a CRNA, right? Going across the bridge, right? Being a human. They just want imperfect humans in CRNA school. That's who they're going to get, because that's all we have out here is imperfect humans who are working on it, who are trusting the process, trusting themselves, getting better every single day, making progress. That's what they want. And this is also how you show awareness, emotional intelligence, and a really clear vision that I have already thought about this in so many ways. I'm already here in my mind, and this is how I'm going to get here, right? So don't just tell them, show them, walk them across the bridge in your interview. Okay. So example of this. So tell me about a time you made a mistake at one point. Okay. I was a novice nurse, or maybe it happened like last week or something like that. You made some type of medication error. Okay. So you've got this over here. This is the situation. We talked about the STARS method in the other video: situation, task, action, result, and then linking it to SRNA. That's kind of the visual of this. So this is the situation. This is what happened. This is the action I took. This is who I was in that moment, or this is what happened, right? This is kind of where the misstep was. However, I know in CRNA school, right, there's no one checking our work. We don't have orders. We don't ask pharmacy for things. We have a patient, ourselves, and a Pyxis. That's it. Or a drawer if you're at surgery centers. You got a drawer of meds, you and the patient. You are the checkpoint. You are the stop point. So you're like, and knowing this, I know from this over here, the mistake that I made, I learned this, and I know in CRNA school that this is the CRNA role. So what I've done is I've made these checkpoints in place. And this is exactly what I do now to triple check my medications. And I will also continue doing that in CRNA school. I know it's even more crucial. Okay. Something like that. So you're constantly just bridging this gap back and forth, right? Because they got to know that you are ready, right? That you are ready to be over here. So show them, bridge the gap, take them on the journey, own where you are right now, love where you're at right now, right? Because we got to do that first before we can even get over here. Okay. So that's what you're going to think about today. What are you proud of? Who are you right now? And what kind of CRNA, what kind of impact do you want to make? Do that work and you will do amazing in your interview. Okay. All right, guys, have an awesome day.